Good evening and welcome to Dynamic Nomadic Diaries. This is a space for real conversations about the mind, behavior, and the quiet decisions that determine the direction of your life. No hype, no false positivity, just structured thinking, psychological insight, and honest reflections. If you're here to understand yourself better and build a stronger internal foundation, stay with us. I'm glad you're here. This is DND. Good evening. You're listening to Dynamic Nomadic Diaries, a space where we slow things down and ask the questions most people avoid. We examine the forces that quietly shape human behavior, destiny, and evolution. Tonight's topic is one that has been whispered about for thousands of years, sometimes feared, sometimes worshipped, sometimes buried under superstition and myth. The power of the mind, and more specifically, how humans have believed across cultures, religions, and eras that thought, intent, and belief can bend reality itself. Witches, warlocks, priests, shamans, monks, occultists, modern psychologists, and neuroscientists. Different language, same core question. Does what we believe deeply, consistently, and emotionally alter outcomes? And if so, how often are we doing this unconsciously? How often are we blessing others without realizing it? And how often unintentionally are we damaging them? Tonight is not about fantasy. It's about human influence. And by the end of this episode, you will understand why ancient societies called this magic. Why religions formalized it as prayer. Why occult traditions ritualized it. And why modern science now studies it under different names. Expectation, priming, suggestion, placebo, nocebo. Let's begin. For most of human history, people didn't separate psychology from spirituality. There was no word for neuroscience, no term for cognitive bias, no understanding of stress hormones or mirror neurons. What they did observe was this: people who believed strongly often acted differently, moved differently, healed differently, led differently, inspired fear or hope in others. So they named it magic. Not because it violates nature, but because they didn't yet understand the mechanism. When a village believed the healer could cure illness, outcomes improved. When a society believed someone was cursed, that person often deteriorated. When a leader was believed to be chosen by divine forces, people obeyed without resistance. This wasn't superstition. This was collective belief shaping behavior. And behavior shapes outcomes. That pattern repeats everywhere. from tribal societies to modern boardrooms. Intent is not mystical. Intent is directed attention plus emotional charge. When you intend something strongly, three things happen. Your perception filters reality differently. Your behavior subtly changes, shifts subtly. Others respond to those shifts, often unconsciously. Ancient traditions personified this as will. Occult systems taught that will must be trained, focused, and controlled because uncontrolled intent leaks outward. In modern terms, this leakage appears as tone of voice, body language, micro expressions, word choice, emotional contagion. You don't need spells to influence people. You do it every day. A parent's belief about a child often becomes that child's future. A teacher's expectations shape students' performance. A leader's confidence changes group morale. This is not coincidence. This is psychological transmission. Here's where ancient superstition becomes uncomfortable truth. Humans constantly project beliefs onto one another. When someone believes this person is dangerous, this person is weak, this person will fail, or this person is gifted, they behave accordingly. And the recipient responds. This creates self fulfilling loops. Historically, this was called a blessing, a curse, the evil eye. Modern science calls it expectancy effect, labeling theory, social priming. A child told repeatedly they are trouble becomes trouble. A person treated as incapable withdraws effort. A community convinced it is doomed collapses. No magic, no demons, no spirits required. Just belief shaping interaction. Prayer works. Not because reality breaks its rules, but because humans do. Prayer focuses attention. It reinforces meaning. It regulates emotion. It stabilizes identity. Occult rituals did the same thing, just without institutional framing. Candles, symbols, repetition, visualization. These techniques trained the mind to hold intent without distraction. That alone alters perception, decision making, and resilience. The danger was never the rituals. The danger was believing you had no control over them. Uncontrolled belief is destructive. That is why ancient systems emphasize discipline, meditation, silence, fasting, reflection, not to gain power, but to prevent harm. When the mind is untrained, fear becomes prophecy. When intent is unfocused, emotion dictates behavior. When belief is unchecked, delusion forms. True mastery was never domination of reality. It was regulation of self. The future of humanity does not require your magic. It requires awareness. Awareness that thoughts influence behavior. Behavior influences systems. Systems shape lives. When humans learn to regulate beliefs instead of worship it, to discipline intent instead of mythologizing it, we evolve. Not spiritually, not magically, psychologically and socially. That is the real power. The mind does not bend reality like fantasy suggests, but it filters, frames, and navigates it. And when millions of minds align, cultures shift, religions form, economies rise, and civilizations fall. So the question is not, is the mind powerful? The question is, are you using it consciously or letting it use you? This has been a D&D. Stay curious, stay grounded, and above all, stay aware.